Hello, it's Crystal with Simple Studies. I'm finally here to share with you guys what we're doing for the 2024-25 year. I have a lot to go over. We have a 9th grader, 8th, 9th, and then a 4th, 5th grader. And I say that because I don't keep my kids within a certain grade box. So is some of the subjects they may be great in, they may be 2 grades higher, and then some that maybe they're still working and growing in, they may be a couple grades lower than what society would have them at. So we tend to be a very Charlotte Mason / passion interest-led homeschool. So I have stacks of books around me. I cannot wait to share these with you. But first, I do want to share with you guys that I have a new guide coming out. It's the first one ever for Simple Studies that will include middle school and high schoolers. And what better year to do this than in an election year? So it's going to be based on the book, Are You Liberal, Conservative, or Confused? It's an Uncle Eric book. If you've never read these books, they're amazing. We love them, and I cannot wait to release this guide. That being said, before you watch the rest of this video, if you want to get on the email list for when this is released, there's a link below to just plug in your email and you'll get an email the minute this is released before the public gets to know. It'll be great for roughly 4th, 5th grade, all the way through high school. There are some very controversial topics in this book, but it's great for discussion. That being said, I would not go lower than like the 5th grade or a mature 4th grade level. And I'm excited to release this. I will be going through it with my son. So be sure to click that link and get on the wait list to get an email when this is released. Okay, I'm gonna show you the planner that I chose for this year. A lot of you guys are already in the mix. You guys already know what you're doing. You already have your planners. So I'll try to make this short and sweet, but I have this one. It's actually a teacher planner. I like this planner because it includes kind of like a logbook. We're only a week into our homeschool, so that's another reason I wanted to wait and share this video with you, to make sure that the resources and books that we chose are actually working and fitting. And then the current week just looks like that. So this is actually like a rough draft of our week 1. It's very light. We do a slow start. I emailed everybody this last week about how we do a slow start. So let me get started with our morning circle. Our morning circle this year is actually going to be very light compared to past years because each child, we're doing things a little bit differently this year. We have our morning circle, and then we have an independent math / independent studies block for about an hour. And then we will do a block of family studies again. We're going to come back together, which we've not done that before. We've always done morning circle and then just into independent studies because our children are so far apart. But this year we're going to do 4 blocks. And then, so that 3rd block is the family studies coming back together for things like geography and ancient history. And then we're going to do a 4th block, whether that lands before or after lunch will just depend on the day. And that will be writing and dictation and spelling. So let me get started with our morning circle, very short and sweet. This year, we are doing the Book of Proverbs. It's a family study, and I love it so far, and the kids are actually really enjoying it, and there are family discussions in here. Every book that I show that I can link, I will link for you, or curriculum or resource, and that will all be linked below. Our read-alouds are going to be, well, we've already dove in, I don't know the word, guys, this is a public school education mother teaching her homeschooled kids. Okay, but isn't that funny how people are like, are you qualified? Well, I had a public school education. What does that say about public school? I'm learning alongside my kids. Anyway, I'll get off that little soapbox. So a couple books that we're choosing from this year are these. This. And then we're doing Tales of Ancient Egypt this year. Tilbury Table for our composer study. This may fall within our family studies when we come back together. Of course, my simple and fresh guides. I have, let me find the cover. Every month I have new topics that keep things simple and fresh. If you're kind of like, oh, not feeling the curriculum or the things that you're going over, each month gives you 3 deep dives into new topics. And so 3 of our monthly morning circles will include those. We do our folk songs. I have Every Man, which is a play. I try to either do Shakespeare or some type of a play. Recitation. I did sign up for Alviary this year, Alviary, but I'm not using a ton of the things that they're recommending. I would say like a third of what they're recommending, just because I need to do what's right for my children, and so does everybody else. So recitation, Bible, there are some picture studies in here, but I tend to go with Simply Charlotte Mason or A Humble Place for our picture studies. Going back to Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, the kids remember a poem from here like 7 years ago. They still haven't memorized, but we love these poetry guides. Before I continue, I do want to go into the classes that we're taking in our homeschool community. They include, for our 9th grader, biology, just biology. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing at our community this year because he has other things he's doing. So this is the 2nd edition, not the 3rd edition. That's what the teacher asked for us to get. Our younger student is doing, a Bible class, a writing class, a hands-on ancient Egypt class, which goes great with our tales this year, and a crochet class. And then they are both taking acting for film in a class together, which is kind of fun and exciting. They are both doing sports as well, football and baseball for our oldest and soccer for our youngest. Okay, so that second block after morning circle, I was going to go ahead and get into the math that the kids are doing. Our 9th grader is just continuing. I am very passionate about not opening up a book and saying that we have to finish it. I am the person that we wake up and we just do the next lesson. That's really important to me because when you start trying to just complete a curriculum instead of actually soaking it in and growing and going through the lessons for the knowledge, then you're essentially just teaching to a test and trying to get through something. That's not the point of homeschooling, in my opinion. So he's about halfway through Algebra 1, and then we will go to Algebra 2. Our daughter is also in Saxon. She's in 5-4. And then I also signed up for, it's The Beauty of Play. And it's a separate guide, and it's very Waldorfy because my daughter is very creative. So into geometry. So geometry lessons we will do once a week that are a little more craftsy and artsy. And then we did sign up for Lily and Thistle, Art Makes Me Smart, the math and art. She'll do that once a week. So our family studies, and then I'll get into what they're doing independently as well. So our family studies, when we come, so we have our morning circle, they'll break for math and like an independent study with me one-on-one, and then we will bring back for our 3rd block of ancient history together and geography. This is what I chose for geography this year because it includes both kids. I looked at what Alviary was doing, and to do 2 separate geographies this year was too much, so I'm just going to bring them back together. I'm trying this new trail guide to world geography with them, but they're also both reading geographical type novels. For our picture study, when we come back together, we did this one again like 7-8 years ago together, or a long time ago. They're going to probably remember a lot of this. And then I'm going to get another Humble Place picture study. For geography, we do a lot of notebooking and narration. So these Eco-Qua Original Fabriano notebooks are my favorite. I wrote Lily and Thistle Around the World because I signed up for one of those as well. The Art Makes Me Smart, but I don't know if we're gonna have time to do it because she also has an in-person class for ancient hands-on history and stuff. So, and with our geography. And then I put a little passport in this notebook. These notebooks are linked below as well. Okay, so I'm first gonna go through kind of the independent studies for my son, who, again, around 9th grade academics. So a few of his books this year, I did print out, or I did order, I wanna say the grade 9, but again, I pick and choose what I use. I tore out probably 2/3 of this guide and only am keeping what we're using. So for like dictation and poetry, he is using this guide with Gilgamesh, Beowulf, the Seamus Heaney Guide and the Making of a Poem, which we will use for dictation and writing. He is also taking biblical history with House of Humane Letters and Plutarch again. Those were his requests. He wanted to take those online classes. So some of his, let's do biographies. Biographies this year are The Sword of the Spirit, A Piece of the Mountain, Blaise Pascal, and Juan Ponce de Leon. So along with his biology, I'm having him read The Fool and the Heretic. As you can see, my notes are, I pre-read all books in the summer that my children will be reading independently. This was one of them, and these are, I have a lot of notes and sticky notes for questions and discussions with him. I also formed a very small Scholé teen boys group in which the boys will be mentored and discuss the true good and beautiful through great books, but exciting books too. So books like The Hobbit, Pilgrim's Progress, and then this is the one that I chose, Ender's Game, because it's a sci-fi novel and I think he's gonna really enjoy it. And he gets to discuss in a very small group setting with other teen boys at a coffee shop. And then I chose this as well because he's in football and sports and he's a very sports-driven child. All right, so his writing, we're doing a lot of dictation from Alvieri, so I don't really, he's not taking like a separate writing class this year or doing a ton of curriculum. I have writing for 100 days, which these are more prompts for me to guide him. Architecture, this is an Alvieri choice, so we are doing that. Let's see, he is doing some grammar lessons, and then he asked specifically to dive deeper into American history. So we are trying, we have not done the first class yet, but we are trying Dave Raymond's American history. It's an online class and it's self-paced, so it's not live like his Plutarch and his biblical history. Okay, and then let's see, ethics and citizenship. He's reading through ourselves and so am I alongside him. Okay, so for our daughter, she is a very scientific, creative, and loves animals and pets. So I picked up a few fun things. I'll link them below. Little things like this, nature poetry, these little magnetic things that she can, or like words. Then just to make things fun, we went out shopping and she got a few things that she wanted and these are so cute. I'm sorry. Why? I mean, they remind me of like the 80s and 90s notebooks we used to have. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. So I think it's really important that we use our children's, their God-given passions and interests to help them thrive in their homeschool. That's why we homeschool. I picked up these little sweet little, like for writing and whatnot. And then, let's see. So she's taking notes in this. She's doing this without me or any lessons, but she just, like, we were at the coast and we were at a bookstore and we saw this and I was like, oh my gosh. And she's like tabbing it like her mom. It's the cutest little book. Oh my gosh, it's just so great. And she asked me to learn about sign language and Latin. And then, so I picked this up and she's been teaching herself sign language, Bible verses. I picked up Nature Smarts. It's like a workbook for 10 through 12, but with as much as we nature journal and we've used Simple Studies in the past, this is just one of those like wake me up brain things in the morning. If she comes down early and wants to do something, there's a lot of hands-on projects in here as well. Speaking of science, for her, we, again, we pick up curriculum, but we don't always just aim to finish it. We aim to grow and do the next thing every lesson that we loop through. So she is still continuing through this. We are over halfway. It's been great. This is a Simply Charlotte Mason. So like, this was one of the books that was in there. We did Pagoo. This was all last year. And then we picked up again through halfway this year. But once her science with that book is done, we are going to do the Alvieri Science living books, which include books like The Hive Detective, Eye of the Storm, Beetle Busters. These are all so great, and I love these recommendations, and I love the lesson guides that they offer. And then her independent reading, she's going to be doing a little bit of her own biographies and whatnot. So Helen Keller, or biography-ish, right? So Ben and Me. What is this? Wilbur and Orville Wright. This is Kateri. I'm not going to say the last name, but Native Americans. And then I have a sticky note to get the audiobook of this one of Amy Carmichael. And then her other independent reading. The idea with independent reading is that, of course, they can pick up any book they want really at the library as long as, you know, it's appropriate. But otherwise, I do have a stack of, okay, especially in the winter when it's dark and we're all needing some quiet time from each other or some space, she has a stack of independent reads. So I will just kind of hold those up for you. The Giver, love that dog, The Little Prince, Courageous Creatures. Again, a lot of these are very passion-led. Anything Roald Dahl, she can just pick up at any time, in my opinion. Stone Fox, 21 Balloons, A Wolf Called Wander. These are just like a sampling of books that I keep on hand in case I say, okay, well, it's time for some independent reading or listening. Okay, another topic that we are diving into this year, sexuality. And I found this, I did a lot of research. I have a few guides on my computer, but I wasn't really feeling any of them. They were too hands-on, too much, but I wanted a biblically based guide. And this is so short, very short lessons. Let me find one without like a diagram. So opening thought and scripture reading. So this has already blessed us both and started a lot of discussions. So it's not awkward, it's very biblically based. This is how God made us to be and function. Okay. Sorry, okay. We are focusing a little bit on spelling this year, so I'm doing all about spelling with her. I've really waited to pick up spelling because we do dictation and a lot of reading. But it was clear that she needed a little bit more support in that area. Let's see, so poetry, we are following Alvieri with some great poetry and of course the animal love and citizenship. So again, we read halfway last year, so we will continue this and then we will move on to Plutarch. Her American history, we are doing America Our Stories, which again, this is an Alvieri choice and they have some great books. We didn't pick all of them up, but we have some great books that we're using from that. Let's see, and I still love Knotgrass. I picked this up at a used bookstore just as a supplement. So we'll rotate through this because these are great. They have great pictures and this is not like the complete package. I just picked it up to use as a supplement. Usually at this age, around 10, they start a book of centuries. Our son has one and now our daughter has one. I picked up this cute teal one. She loves teal. Okay, moving into writing and grammar for our 5th grader. She is taking a writing class. So I'm holding off on using these until I see that she would benefit from them. But I picked up Write with the Best and Modeling Writing After Great Works of World Literature. I don't know, I've read through it. I don't know if we'll use all of that because I still love writing and rhetoric. I'm gonna be honest and say that my daughter is also one who will sit down and she will focus hard for about 10 minutes. And then she gets a headache, she needs to get up, she needs to move. So I have her walk the dog, I have her make bracelets, I have her, play with slime, but I'm not going to force my child to sit and stress out and get a headache if it's not working for them. That is also why we do short lessons. My oldest, on the other hand, will sit for an hour and focus on what he's focused on. They're just made differently, and I love that about them. I love that I can tap into both types of children and their character and honor them in that way. So she and I do a ton of hands-on things, not necessarily like super crafty things, but we are outside a lot. We're nature journaling. She's playing with the dog or training him. Entrepreneurship is one of her strengths as well. So she is creating another business as we speak. I think that's great. I don't think I need a curriculum. I own a business. My husband owns a business. So I'm really happy that we can support her in those entrepreneurial methods or ways. And last but not least, handwriting. I will probably start this one halfway through. We used it with my son, vocabulary, classical roots. These are great. I love these. And then I've not used these before. This is a kind of like a 5th grade one, but we do use these, and my son went through the entire program of this. My daughter really enjoys cursive. My son did not so much. So we're gonna start with this one and then probably end the year with this one. Last but not least, just a simple little, what is this? A planner, a scheduler? Yeah. So he has his own. I've not filled it out yet. Oh, there they are. Okay. There they are. Okay. Woo! These are great. He is a natural note taker. He just sits there and takes his own notes on his online classes. And really, I think that it's a blessing to our children when we can support them and hone in on what they love and what they're passionate about and what their interests are. So hopefully this has been helpful. I don't think anybody should do what we do. I think everybody has to do what's right for their children. I probably should have added that at the beginning as a disclaimer, but you guys have seen enough of my videos that you know that that's what I believe. Please let me know what your questions are. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to add your name to the list. Exploring Political Ideologies, simple studies that should be out in the next few weeks. I'm almost done creating it, and I'm so excited to use it with my son this fall in an election year. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. I hope you guys have an amazing fall with your kids. Hopefully I'll touch base with you again in the winter. Until then, have a great year. Thanks, guys.